ahead, Yamiche.
Thanks so much. A few questions. The first is, what should Americans take away from the fact that President Biden campaigned on unity, talked about unity, got into office about 2 weeks in, has decided, all but it decided it seems, to go with a process where Democrats can pass a $1.9 trillion plan without the support of Republicans. I know that there are Republicans across the country that the White House is pointing to saying they support this bill, but there is the fact that Democrats don't have to have Republican support in Congress for this bill, and the president is seemingly supporting that process. So I'm wondering what people should take away from that, and will that definition of bipartisanship be the one that is going forward with this White House?
Well, the president ran on unifying the country, not on creating one political party. But I will note that 16 of the last 21 reconciliation bills that have gone through Congress have been bipartisan. And certainly, there's opportunity for Republicans to not only offer amendments as it's going through the House committee process, and then we'll go through the Senate committee process following that, but they will have the opportunity to, of course, vote for a package that the vast majority of the American people support. The president is his first priority is getting relief to the American people. But the vast majority of the public, Democrats, Republicans, independents, are with him in that effort. There's a long history of bipartisan support for reconciliation bills, a parliamentary process. Again, I don't think the American people are particularly worried about how the direct relief gets into their hands. That if that's the process that it moves forward through, which seems likely at this point, the president would certainly support that.
I have a question also on impeachment. I know the president, you say, isn't going to be watching it, but there are going to be millions of Americans who will be watching it. I wonder what the president's message is to Americans, especially the ones that are still mourning the loss of people who died in the Capitol, who are still wondering whether or not former President Trump will be possibly acquitted in this trial, even if President Biden doesn't want to say whether or not President Trump should be convicted. I just wonder if the White House has any message to Americans who are gearing up for what could be a tumultuous and traumatic 2 weeks.
Well, the president's focus is on delivering what those millions and millions and millions of Americans care deeply about, which is getting the pandemic under control, putting millions of Americans back to work, getting vaccines in the arms of Americans, reopening schools. And he has been clear that he views the events of January 6th as a horrific attack on our democracy. He put out a statement. We put out a statement from him, I should say, when the House voted. But he's going to leave it to the Senate to determine the path forward here. That doesn't change, and his view is that he was elected to deliver on the promises he made on the campaign trail. So that's what he's going to keep his focus on in the weeks ahead. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead, Yamiche.
Saying that the GOP can offer amendments, that doesn't mean that they have to listen to them or accept them. So I wonder then if Republicans have to just accept what the Democrats have approved. I just wonder if you could talk a bit more about this definition of bipartisanship, because there is this, I know you're saying that Democrats and are giving Republicans the opportunity, but there's still this idea that Democrats are in 2 weeks in are going it alone.
Well, again, 16 of 21 reconciliation bills in the past have received bipartisan support. And the ideas in this package, the proposals in this package, have broad support from Democrats, Republicans, and independents across the country. So I would pose the question back to Republicans. Why aren't you supporting what the vast majority of the public supports? I'll leave it at that.